Violent murderess, Queen Hellebron. The sounds of torment and death ring out throughout your city of Garneth. Past the fortress, the Deadwood Sentinels stand guard. They could prove a useful ally against the marauding threat of the Northmen, or be cut down to seize their slaves for yourself. Further south, our kin do battle across the great ocean, but another threat lurks deep beneath this very fortress. A verminous horde seeks to bring a plague and destruction to all Druki. Beyond the icy plains, wild beasts inhabit the mountain crags, readying themselves for war. But a much closer prize lies at our very doorstep. The secrets of Ghrond have forever been a source of wonder and beauty. Strike first, deviant Hellebron. Bring a cruel and crushing end to all those that stand before you, Queen of Murder. Bathe in their blood this night, the next, and all the nights that follow.
Alright, so thank you for this very subtle introduction to the faction. So, we're playing as Hellebron. I don't know, I just got the feeling that I've been playing a lot of Dark Elf. Yeah, I know. I've been playing a lot of Dark Elves, and for some reason it just kind of came over me that I hadn't played Hellebron in a while, even though I actually like her macro mechanic, which we'll get into a little later. It's kind of an interesting idea. Not too complicated, but I mean, I was a little disappointed with Malus, so this is fine. So for those who are not completely in the know, or maybe haven't played Dark Elf too much, you know that there is a lot of stuff going on right now about how we're all apologizing for the racism against orcs and the dark beings and so on. Well, Creative Assembly said fuck that and went all in on the fact that Dark Elves in Warhammer Fantasy are complete fucking cunts. They are just like, imagine if you took the snobbiness of High Elves and mixed it with Skaven and you basically had this faction. So, we are going to kill everything around us except what we're going to enslave and then later kill as we sacrifice them to the one god that seems to be of any use to us, which of course is the god of murder, which is kind of a backwards way to use slaves. But that works for the Spartans, it works for the Dark Elves. And old Hellebron here is the main priestess of the god of murder, and that's why she looks like this. Batshit fucking crazy, not sure about the hair.
Such a dull color.
Yeah, we'll kernel it red, don't worry. And as you saw, I got a little mod that makes the flags red as well. So, we are going to go out and find ourselves some slaves wherever we can find them. And I mean, lore-wise, High Elf slaves are most valued to the Dark Elves. In this game, it doesn't really matter. It can be Skaven is the same value as a strong Northman or as a High Elf, or even other Dark Elves, whom we will probably start enslaving as first. Particularly here in the beginning, because a couple of ground rules for the campaign. Obviously,
Hag Queen.
being Hellebron, we are obviously completely not allowed to have any treaties with Morathi, because it wouldn't make any sense. And if you don't know why, long story short, imagine like probably the second most vile cunt in existence to have ever existed, immortal, and constantly in the shadow of the biggest cunt that ever existed, and you basically have Hellebron, so they don't really like each other too much. So we're not going to have any pacts with her, and as a consequence, of course, we won't have any pacts with Malekith either. In fact, the plan, to sum it up, is to pacify Ghrond here, then go straight for Naggarond. I want this city for myself. This city is bonkers. You can, of course, confederate for it, but please. As though Malekith would ever let himself be confederated. Nah, we're gonna beat his fucking ass in, and we're gonna grab Hag Graef as well, because two of the richest provinces in the game, at least for Dark Elves, but I think in general, are these two. Ghrond is also super rich. Unfortunately, there's only 3 here, which is relevant for slave mechanics. We'll get into that later, but still pretty rich. So this area is omega rich, and we want it. So,
Mistress of Garneth.
the tactic is gonna be pretty simple. We're going to be using our 2 super strong units that we get in the beginning here. One is slow but tanky, one is super fast, a little more squishy. And then we're going to combine it with probably my favorite unit in the whole game, which is this Dark Shards, which is an amazing missile unit that kills anything they point their crossbows at. Yes, elves that don't rely on bows, how about that? Unfortunately on Legendary you kind of have to rely on ranged units unless you buff up your melee units considerably to match the AI bonuses, which we will try with Hellebron. We will try to use Executioners, Sisters of Slaughter and Witch Elves later.
I am Cain's
and of course,
instrument.
My favorite little death hacks here, let me see. Oof, that's a terrible one to get. See, we're already immune to psychology with Frenzy. Ooh, I'm probably going to disband her at some point, but you can never get what you want. It's okay. Just check, she can damage rolls. Good. So,
bewitching.
First things first.
Cain is with me.
Observing these rules.
Let's go grab some people. Now, this is, of course, auto-resolvable.
Slash, stab, fight, kill.
Will do, will do. But for two reasons, I'm going to do the fight like this. One is to save troops, because as Ghrond is right next to us and is building up a pretty considerable army already, it would be wise to try and limit our losses. And the second one is I want to prioritize the experience gain to be focused on the units that we won't disband, because I'm going to be honest, these units have one purpose, and that is to get in the way. Like, if they can just delay the enemy, our actual units can do the heavy lifting. That's the plan.
Very well.
And for that reason, this unit, which is not defensive, but it's like a middle tier unit, is just gonna get disbanded the second I can, because these units have no place in Legendary difficulty.
Murderous.
You either need incredibly good tanks or incredibly good damage dealers, but you can't have like units that don't do anything well in melee, unfortunately. Hopefully they'll fix that in Warhammer 3.
On to violence.
So, the plan here, send in our single entities that are a little bit more difficult to hit, even though they're pretty squishy.
Mistress of Whispers.
I can't imagine why. Send them in, draw the fire, and then we just swarm in with our...
Dark Elves!
Exactly.
Eager for battle.
As soon as we get their Dark Shards offline, the battle is basically over.
We are ready.
Then we send down our Executioners and our Sisters of Slaughter to just clean up. Yeah, you better run. Perfect! 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 Oh, we can isolate them. She did her job, now she can go back to here. Because now we have our Sisters of Slaughter on them. That's gonna be a massacre. That battle is already over. And now we just need Hellebron to hold up these ones until our Executioners can make it. Now Hellebron has a special ability that just makes anything in this area except for her fucking bonkers. So if you don't know what that ability is, that's what it does. Now, let's see if we can get her out. Move! Thank you. We don't want these guys shooting. They can fuck up our Executioners pretty hard. Come on! Get him! There we go. Holy shit, she hits a lot of units. Now let's see how they're doing. Okay, okay. I mean, unfortunately they're routing a little bit too fast. Our poor Executioners have 31 speed, so can't really chase stuff. Oh my goodness, that was fast. Now these, on the other hand, have 44 speed and poison, so they can run down pretty much everything in the early game. Poison, of course, is, among other things, a 24% speed slow, and yeah, it is, buddy. I'm sorry to say it, but you're probably right. Oh my goodness. Ooh, that is nasty. So happy, look at that. Good work, everyone. Now we're not gonna cut these, so let's see, 61, 82. Okay, they did their best. Not the worst first battle, honestly. Did lose 6 troops, but yeah, that's the thing. As probably some of them were just useless chaff here, but you can leave the Dark Shards up for like just 2 volleys and they kill like 40 of your soldiers, and it can be high tier ones as well. Which of course we're gonna exploit the shit out when we get them. Now, the most important thing in the beginning, other than the fact we get some slaves, but that's not actually that important yet, is to get experience. So I'm just going to sack this, so I can attack it next turn and get some more experience on Hellebron. Okay, so we're gonna get her out much, of course, not much explanation needed there. Now, probably not gonna use her too much, because she has probably the worst trait that you can have as a death hack. It literally just gives 3 leadership, which is terrible. But until then, I'll use her as a frontliner. Now, as for here, the thing with...
Their blood sustains
me. Indeed it does. And we'll get into how it does that later. The thing with Dark Elf here is that when we get to tier 3, there is so much stuff we want. Like, we definitely need torture posts, because otherwise, with all the slaves we're gonna get, this is gonna like spiral out of control with public order, because of course slaves will generate negative public order. But we also need slave pens, because this building is bonkers, and I'll explain why later. But we also need manors for the growth, and we want sorceresses, and we want death hags and witch elves. It's just so much stuff to do, so I just want to tag up to tier 4 as soon as possible, because I definitely need it. Oh, here, kind of a needless little thing they added, that you need to spend 4 turns doing nothing just for 3% income, but I guess it's fine. But for the same reason, I just want growth, so I'm just gonna go for growth. You could argue, well, why don't I just let the AI build this stuff up and then take it? Which I could do, but if you let Malekith build up too much, it's gonna be a really gruesome fight against him. It's not worth it, I think. I think it's better to just strike early and build it up yourself. Speaking of diplomacy, we have a non-aggression pact with Naggarond. We're gonna break it when we can, but...
seeks the counsel of the Witch King.
I do, buddy. But if we do it now, we're gonna get the treachery thing, because we just did it. So we'll wait 10 turns with that. Now, because of this tactic, I don't actually want to fight this guy.
Naggaroth, the strong thrive and the weak drown.
But he hates us so far, so as is tradition with Dark Elves, pretty much, there is not too much diplomacy if you're not actually like fucking someone up. So that should be it. Now, Ghrond has 5 units of cavalry with those repeater crossbows with armor piercing that we also use, which is pretty scary stuff. It's actually not an easy fight against them early on. Oh yeah, here we get some quests. This is just to capture the Avalon capital, which gives us a reward I'll get into. And then this one is to capture Morathi's capital. Like Skaven, it's all about stabbing your friends in the back when they're not looking. And then, of course, in Ulthuan there's a Shrine of Cain, and who else would want it but us? Which would give us a pretty decent amulet and so on, but this region is fucking trash and we're gonna get it for a long time, so let's not get into it. Anyway, what is the macro mechanic of Hellebron if you haven't played her?
Blood will warm me.
So you say. Basically we have this meter which is dropping every turn, and it gives a set of bonuses which when it's maxed they're pretty good, like 20% physical resistance additively on top of the base 20% for Hellebron and Witch Elves, so it's 40%, which is pretty bonkers actually. Public order, leadership and all that good stuff, and then it drops down to this. And then here it's like, it's just balanced, and here it starts getting really bad. And of course if you drop here, basically, yeah, your Witch Elves and Hellebron is like paper and everything is revolting. So the way you reset this bar, because it only goes downwards, is that you take a bunch of slaves and you basically do what Hellebron does best, which as a priestess of Cain means she's going to dissect their liver via an open surgery wound on some sort of altar. You can do this as many times as you want, and when you do it you spawn a ship full of crazy-ass fanatics who go to Ulthuan and burn shit down. But every time you do it, the requirement in slaves get higher. You need to bathe in more blood, basically.
Blood Queen of Haganeth.
But by completing these 2 quests, by getting the Avalon capital and Morathi's capital, we can cap off how much this can drop. And if we get both, we are fixed at this. just a long-term plan, but for now we'll do it the other fashioned way. And, that's why we have this vigor loss reduction and extra physical resistance and extra public order, if you were wondering. Alright, let's go here again. Not too much to say there, not gonna fight it this time. I might take it next turn, but for now, like I said, the main fight is gonna be against an army that consists, among other things, of a lot of cavalry with bows, with ranged weapons. Now, if you have your own ranged units against cavalry with ranged, you usually come out on top because they have less models, given that they're cavalry. They're also easier to hit, given that they're on horses, so dark shots on foot will crush repeaters on horses. But if you don't have any ranged units to challenge them, then they will just completely annihilate all our strong units and then go through us like nothing. So for that reason, I'm going to buy some ranged units. Even though these get an upgrade in one turn, I want these so badly I'm going to upgrade them now. It might seem a little weird, but trust me, there is a reason I'm doing that. And now for here, let's see. This is a good stat upgrade, and we don't really need these yet. We can wait for it, so let's just get 4/4. And for my poor here, she already hits like a truck, so let's just get her some defense. Don't really need replenishment, and we're not going to use her like this, so I'm just going to give her this tree until I disband her, I think. Which unfortunately I'll probably have to do. Let's see.
Words have the power to...
Yeah, as I remember, these guys are hard to persuade to start liking us, but usually they will be busy fighting the Norskins that are up here. Too busy to actually bother trying to invade us. I hope.
Their blood sustains.
Oh, we'll have to take this province. I mean, it's a good province to have. It just puts us in range of the Norskins up here if we take this province, which usually means they declare war. I would rather avoid that as long as possible.
I am Kane's
okay, so now I think we're ready to take this.
Slash.
Easy peasy. Again, I could fight the battle manually to optimize the amount of kills here to get them experience, but this is such a small battle that it's okay. And this time I think we're gonna just occupy it.
Pick this place clean.
This is gonna give me some slaves, but it will also damage the buildings.
This place is
I think this is better.
deadly.
Perfect, and it has this already, which is absolutely perfect. Alright, great stuff, great stuff.
Kane's bride.
Now we can get the Dark Shells with shields, which is just a straight upgrade. And unfortunately, there is no way to upgrade the standard ones to these ones. I still don't understand why that's not possible, but it's not very well. Basically, they trade 2 melee attack for, what is it, 6 melee defense, and they go from no shields to silver shields, which is, yeah. Basically, one of these against one of these will have this one winning with like 80% of the model left. It is a massive upgrade. So, we'll get them. Because we can't rest on our laurels. We have to push as hard as possible against Ghrond, because if you let the AI build up, suddenly they will start having 2-3 stacks. It's nasty stuff. Alright. So now I think I'm actually gonna go for this. I'm gonna go Dreaded Slaver. You'll see why when we get later in the game. It's absolutely amazing to just stack that. And then Lightning Strike is very difficult to argue with, especially when you don't have a Lord with innate ambush like Skaven or a Lethanar. So let's go for this. I think we'll go for Lightning Strike.
I sense Kane's presence.
So if you don't know Dark Elf macro, basically we have a building that gives us a fixed amount of gold. Oh, there we go. You see what I mean? 6 of those actually. Well, we'll go over how we abuse the slave stuff later. Let's just take these out first. Now, these 2 are the biggest priority once we get rid of his cav. And this is why we're glad we have a ton of range now. Because otherwise, without those tier 1 dark shots, this battle would be a stomp. Like, we would probably not be able to win it. I think it's pretty much impossible with 6 ranged cavalry against, like, this. But with these, it should be possible. And we also have a little bit of cannon fodder.
cold-blooded killers.
So I usually just stack them up with guard mode. Now
We are ready.
these guys and these girls need to stay the way back because they're the main targets for the enemy ranged units.
Mother of despair.
Dealers in death.
Now we need something for them to shoot at. I suggest this garrison.
Bleak swords.
And then here on the sides we have our shielded units.
Dealers in
And I
death.
guess we can put one here as well, who can run up and intercept whatever is going to come in. So this way the plan is that they're going to send their cavalry first. Usually they'll probably go for these.
Swords.
We'll trade these for us getting a lot of return fire. Maybe they'll run some around to try and flank, but then we have these to just screen them a little bit while we rearrange.
Shards.
Now once that's done, we need to take out his Corsair handbores with our ranged units. Oh, and he's actually going to send them first as well. That's a lot of range, but you see, he's keeping his army back. This is how the AI is sort of, you know, trying to game it a little bit, but it's actually just getting exploited like crazy. Like, this is a great idea if I have one Dark Shard. But when I have 4, this is suicide. Like, what is he gonna do with this?
Bleak swords.
I can actually just put these a little bit back. I'm a little worried about these Corsairs, so I'm probably gonna send in something to disrupt them a little bit.
Dark shards. Executioners.
I think I'm gonna fold these into the center, actually.
Onward. Orders understood. No survivors. Kill
And now we're just gonna like
Dark
do this,
elves.
and I'm just gonna send in these chaff units.
Orders understood.
As you can see, he's going for my elite units, which is smart, but by doing that, he's just getting... Look how fast he's getting melded! This is just one unit of dark shots taking them. It is absolutely disgusting. Now what is this doing? This is just keeping them running around so they can't target what they want back here. Meanwhile, look at this. They are getting crushed! So now we can actually focus on these.
Suffering for all.
And I'm actually gonna send these guys in, just again to try and push them back a little bit so our dark shots have time to do their work.
Dark shards.
And this is what I mean, like, imagine if he just sent his whole army in at once, but instead he's coming in waves.
Kill them.
Which we can exploit very easily. Yeah, we're gonna lose these guys, but you know,
King's priestess.
End them.
they're working for the Grand Priestess of Cain, like, they understand what they're gonna go for here. Come on.
Dealers in
Let's just
death.
send them in
Dark
like
shards.
this.
Slay them.
Good. One handbow is already down already. No need to shoot them in the back because they don't have shields. This one guy is taking care of this. Meanwhile, he's shooting at my useless chaff here. They have shields and they're fucking useless. Who cares? And we have our elite units ready for when the actual fight starts.
Eager for battle.
This is about as ideal as it can get. Oh no, he hit me.
Dark shards.
Now, of course, it's annoying that we can't finish them off, but it's okay.
Ever ready.
Now here comes the actual fight.
King's bride.
And of course, we need to pull our shards back.
By your command.
We need to make sure we sit on his, these guys, the cavalry, because if they get a chance to actually start shooting, even crippled as they are, the damage they deal is no joke.
Understood.
Quickly now.
So here,
Moving out.
this right here is what we like to see.
Executioners. Without question. Hack. Cut.
Big juicy flank here.
Dark shards.
Let's get the handbows
Dark elves.
that we can send our executioners into.
Hellebron.
And we can buff them up.
Lord of murder.
They have pretty insane stats. Look at that kill ratio. Look at that go up. Whew. Oh wait, I forgot about these.
Death awaits.
Of course, it's the same story here. We need to pull you
Drooping
back.
forward.
We're gonna send them in like this.
Dark shards. Advance.
I think I'm just gonna start skirmishing these guys.
Without
So
question.
keep
The merciless host.
these back
By your command.
as we flank here.
Dealers in death.
And this, I mean, at this point,
Ha! Forward.
no pun intended, it's an execution. We have open shots here.
Killed enough.
It's actually physically painful to watch. Now I actually want to see if I can wipe out these units. Oh, they ran too fast. Oh, that's the problem. It was a little too efficient. And all we really paid with was our garrison and this chaff, which did their job. Like, again, these units have one job, and it's to get in the way. Meanwhile, our hard hitters did what they had to do. Jesus. Oh, and we got rid of their leader as well. Beautiful. Now, since I don't really need experience on these, and again, these will never catch anything, it's basically just these. Guess we can chop down some units here, because getting them experience is amazing because of basically this unit. They have 5 armor, as you can imagine, bronze shields, which are even worse than you would think. It's only 20%. They have some physical resistance, but it's not enough to compensate. What their bonus is that they have so much melee defense that it's actually insane. And the thing with melee defense is that the more you have, each point of defense you have more than the enemy's attack is exponentially stronger because of the way avoidance works. So by giving them experience, we can actually push their defense up to ridiculous amounts, which means they are actually very tanky in melee. So as long as we can control the enemy range, Sisters of Slaughter are amazing frontline units for the first 70-80 turns of the game. So yeah, that was pretty disastrous for him, but unfortunately he got out with most of his cavalry. I was not very vigilant with that. I should have been better at picking off his cav units, because these are pretty annoying to fight. Anywho, another thing I should say is that in these situations, unless there's a very good reason for it, of course we're gonna enslave them every single time. I mean, who would play Dark Elf and not do that? Let's be honest. Great stuff. And now, with 3 victories and under our belt, we get our first raid, which is, yeah, this is absolutely bonkers. More casualties captured, more replenishment is great. The income and the decline rate, I don't really know if that's good or not. 50% more loot after each battle that we win is great. This ability, you probably know it. If you don't, you'll see why this is insane. Now, I don't think I need to waste it yet. But what I want to do is, I want to sneak up to here. As you see, he's...
Mother of despair.
Maybe I should have attacked him there, actually. I think I could have dragged him out.
Behold,
if he leaves one out... I didn't know he had one...
No.
Lord just standing here, because by doing that we can actually attack and draw out his army.
Blood Queen of Hag Graef.
Which is pretty devastating for him. I wanted to ambush here and see if I could sneak over and take this. But seeing this...
bring me a cloak.
I'm actually not sure now.
I sense Kane's presence.
Oh, she's getting nice and beefy. Now, one thing I like about Death Hacks is that when you have city assaults, having someone who can go with Hellebron up on the walls is actually amazing. Well, let's see. Again, I want to replace all these with these, so why not? Let's see. Probably gonna have to disband a little bit.
Mistress of Hag Graef.
That's unfortunately the price you pay. We can also see if there is a mastery wand. Whew. So about to say, now there's really only one trait that I want from my heroes that I want to embed in armies, and it's this one. That's pretty lucky. He's coming with us. I mean, stuff like this is so bad. It's actually insane. But then you get Spiteful. 3 melee attack, 5% weapon strength for everyone. This includes Hellebron, by the way, so yes, please.
Later.
Now we'll do the right next turn, because I don't think he's gonna attack me now. If he does, that's actually great for us. I almost want to disband this. Actually, I think I will. I also want to disband the Bleak Sword because it's not that good. But it's nice to have some chaff right now. I mean, I would replace it with a spear, and the difference is not big enough yet. It's okay. Still no? No, he still hates us. As you can see, Dark Elves hate everyone, even each other. 10 aversion with pretty much everyone. It's healthy to have a little bit of skepticism. Let's see, what the hell? What the fuck? Okay, this is highly unusual. So if I had ambushed like next to the city, she would have run into it? Really? I wonder if I can win this. I actually have no idea. How fast is a Dreadlord? 36 speed. Okay, she's slightly faster than our dark shots, but if... I mean, how much health does she have? No! Show me the health! Ah! Well, this is highly unusual. This is... sometimes it feels like there aren't enough skirmish battles with like small unit scales of like 4 or 5 on each side. Well, this is kind of like that, I guess. Let's see what's gonna happen. So she has a silver shield, 55% absorption, and actually, since we don't have full units of dark shots, I don't want to shoot her when she has her shield at us. I think that's a really bad idea. So we need to do this, I think. So we need to feed her something to chase. And only shoot her in the back. Shields don't work when you get hit in the back. And I think also if they get hit from this side, but I'm not 100% on that. Actually, let's find out. It's pretty interesting to find out.
The merciless host. The merciless host.
Alright, lads, you can shoot now, you know. Is that little hill getting in the way or what? Boys, it's there's literally only one of them. You can
Dark Elves. Dealers in death. Dark shot.
Let's see if she uses her shield against us. She does raise it. I don't know if that actually means it works or not.
Merciless warriors.
What a clowny battle this is gonna be, but I'm not losing this city to one Dreadlord. I flat out refuse to do it. I would say I'm sorry, but I'm not. Okay, now I think we can hit her in the back. Get some good damage in. Oh, she always raises her shield, okay. There's a bit of an accuracy penalty on Legendary, as you can see. Ranged units do get penalties on Legendary, it's just not as much as melee units. But they have had a hard time hitting her here. I actually need to get closer to her, I think. Now, why don't I send in these guys? Because they're gonna get cut to pieces. We need as much time as possible. And never gather these two too closely together. So one can always shoot. She's not taking so much damage, I have to say. It's a bit of a problem. I might have to sacrifice one spear unit here. We'll see. There we go. Finally.
We are ready.
This will take a while.
Moving out. Onward. Moving out. Understood. Daruki, forward. Advancing. Dark Elves. Onward. My blade hungers. Dark
nope,
shot.
she's turning around.
Cold-blooded killers. Onwards to murder.
So maybe I should put some Benny Hill music on this. I'm not sure.
Massacre them.
Oh, she's charging. Oh god. Already. That was should be a good time, right? Brace? No brace, just run.
Cold-blooded killers.
Keep running. We're getting some shots in, I think.
The merciless host.
Okay.
The merciless host.
I think that was a good time to just brace and take the charge. She kind of caught up with us here. And while that's happening, hopefully we can shoot her a little bit in the back. Hopefully. Not actually entirely sure about that. This does not look so good. Should of course make it so that our ranged units can actually fire. And we should put them closer. The closer they are, the better their accuracy.
Advance, Brookie! Eager for battle! Suffering for all! Advancing! Die, weaklings!
So we should be okay. Damage is actually kind of shit, but of course they don't have a chance against the Lord. Yeah, we will hit some of our own, but you know, I keep making comparisons to Skaven, but I hope you're starting to see why I do that. Now the problem is I don't actually think I have enough missiles to kill her here. I think I'm gonna run out. Simply not enough dark shards. I mean, we're dealing some good damage, but we're also running out of arrows, unfortunately.
Forward! Bloody murder!
She's only 1/3 down, and we're almost halfway through our arrows. That's quite unfortunate indeed.
Kill them! Dark Elves! On to slaughter!
See if she will actually chase these. That would be pretty ideal.
Forward! On to slaughter!
We should probably split them up. Some good damage is being dealt for sure. Good, good.
Moving out! Advance! Druki!
Come on, come on. Nice.
Swords!
Hopefully she doesn't get the charge off already. It's a little too early for that. Let's wait until she turns around again.
Going!
Move a little closer. There we go.
For the king!
You have to try and play around that shield of hers.
The merciless host!
Gosh damn it, you guys have some serious accuracy problems here, guys. I'm sorry to say it.
Murder awaits! Dark shards!
Okay, good, 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 good. Let's move our shots a little bit closer. We need more accuracy than that, because that was not good enough. I'm sorry to say it.
We are ready! Dark shards!
I think we can afford a volley here.
The merciless host!
Now, of course, because ranged units take a little bit of time between each volley, you can actually move them in between each without losing anything. Just takes a little more micro. Honestly, this is one of those situations where there's no excuse not to do it. Again, the closer we are, the better the accuracy, so good thing she keeps switching between these two swords, so perfect for us.
Dark shards! Dark elves! Advancing!
Dangerously low on bolts now. It's definitely not good.
Cold-blooded killers! Cold-blooded killers!
Definitely want her to face this way, I guess. Actually, her shield is on that side. Whoops. Ah, she turned around and completely dodged that volley. Ouch.
Swords! Druki!
Need to let her get the shot, or the
Bleak swords!
think she can get the charge here, so she runs in a straight line so we can hit her better.
Battle ready! We are ready! Naggaroth!
One can argue this is a bit cheesy, but honestly, when the enemy attacks you with one lord, like, what am I supposed to do? Fight her head on with 5 units? It doesn't really make much sense to me, honestly. Like, isn't this exactly how you would fight one character?
Blood will flow! Carnage awaits!
Ah, we're running out of bolts now.
Cold-blooded killers!
I don't actually think I can kill her. I think she actually got me.
Dealers in death.
Maybe I wasted too many bolts
With pleasure.
when she
Murder
had her
awaits.
shield up, or maybe we just simply don't have enough. No, 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 no,
To
don't shoot.
destruction.
Come on.
Moving out. Advancing. Advance, Druki. Murder awaits.
I hope I can milk the last here. Oh no!
To slaughter.
Why does she keep turning to the other ones?
To
They're
destruction.
right here.
Dark shards. Forward. Going.
I have to do this, I think. I need to draw her a little bit closer.
Dark shards.
So we need to get...
Forward.
Now we can gather them, because we need to get
Advance, Druki.
the same angle with both of them. Since they're running out of bolts anyway, it's not a big deal anymore.
Advance, Druki! Carnage awaits.
I actually want to draw them
We are
closer.
ready.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the overlay. Sorry about that.
Bleak swords! Going! Druki!
Hopefully she'll turn around for the next one, so we can pull her back a little bit.
Merciless warriors! Blood for Cain! Going!
Or not.
Without question!
Okay, here we go.
Stop! Understood! Onwards to murder!
Of course she's gonna run for my dark shots, but nope.
Onward!
So you guys are gonna run away, so she keeps chasing these ones.
Suffering for
Good. Yes. One more volley, I think.
Dark shards! Bleak swords! Advancing! Naggarothi! Onward! Murder awaits!
They've done some good damage, actually. I mean,
Forward!
the only problem is these guys don't deal any damage whatsoever, unfortunately.
Forward!
Bleak Swords is just a terrible unit, there's no way around it.
Murder awaits! Eager for battle! Dark Elves!
Now, unfortunately, I need them to be not too tired when they fight her,
Slaughter!
like these guys are.
Orders understood! Advance,
We
Druki!
should just let them rest a bit. Should let them walk, it's fine.
Onward! Moving out!
And then we should pick
Going!
here, I think, is the best position, because we also want hill advantage.
Attack!
One thing I learned recently is that hill advantage in this game is actually way huger than I thought it was.
Carnage awaits!
Okay, that wasn't so good. So we got her down to 33%. Okay,
Dark shards!
not ideal,
Onwards
but
to murder!
it's okay. So if we could like fight her there, for instance, and then flank her from here and here,
Druki!
draw her into a little box and just see if
Dark Elves!
maybe that's good enough. She should be exhausted by now, I hope. Yeah, exhausted. But unfortunately, still morale, of course, is pretty high.
Dark shards!
It's understandable.
Destruction!
And we should get the counter charge.
By Cain! Forward! We understand! Moving out!
And now, it's
We
in
are
Kane's
ready.
hands, I'm afraid.
Suffering for all!
All we can do is just swarm her and hope it's good enough.
Flow.
See, we're getting a morale pretty low. Let me see. This is one thing I don't like in legendaries. You have to really scan for it. Let's see. Attacked in the rear, damage sustained. Faster and stronger. Well, that's not really true, but sure. Hands off keyboard. Let's just see what happens. Okay, wavering. Good. Oh, yes! Oh, yes! Oh, never say never. 5 garrison. 5 unit tier 1 garrison. With like 1/5 of the units in it. And they actually got her. That took a while, but I'm not gonna lose it to this. You better believe it. I'm just wounding her a little bit. Lower. I don't want to kill her though, because if I kill her, he's just gonna make a new lord with full health. This is fine. 29 kills, we lost 39, yeah. It's a little bit of a friendly fire there. Maybe that was a mistake. I admit it. Anywho, that's one way of winning, or whatever you want to call it. Whew. Alright. Unfortunately, we can't enslave her, but not yet. Don't worry. See, now she's gonna stand outside the city in force march. That means that when I attack her, she cannot retreat. Ooh, nice. Okay, we got the slave bonus thing. So now we make a grand total of...
Cease your provocations!
absolutely nothing from our slaves, but it's okay, it's okay.
Master Druki.
Now this is what I like to see. There is an 8 garrison. It's pretty tough actually, but we can wipe out this lord, who is pretty low already.
Snow.
She has poison attacks. I guess that's her trait. And we can probably wipe out this unit as well, because they're drawn out. They don't have a choice here. Like, they cannot not join her in this fight.
Blood Queen of
Which is a little bit kind of a janky mechanic, honestly, but it's the same for us.
Real military might.
Indeed it is. And I think there's 16 of them, but we have some really good units. These as well are amazing. And 3 characters, one of them being Hellebron. I think we're okay here. I'm just gonna, before I forget, quickly do this. Again, I want this one here as well, so we can buff it up even faster. Might even take this one down, we'll see.
Bloody-handed.
But for now... Oh, yes. 3 of these versus 6 of ours. And again, he has these, but if Dark Shots was a good counter to repeater crossbows on horseback, imagine them with shields. Like, this is... I'm very confident that this is going to be a stomp. But maybe I'm wrong. You'll just have to wait and see. And so will I.